Hello guys, Aaron here. So in this video, I will explain the Hindi alphabet or the Devanagari script. Most of you recognize this script that it looks like there is a line on top and some jittery drawings in the upper and lower parts of the line. That is because the Hindi alphabet is actually an abugida, which is a type of script that to add a vowel after a consonant, you need to modify the consonant in some way to indicate the vowel that comes after it. It's kind of like an abjad like Arabic, but you don't use diacritical marks. The Hindi language is spoken as an official language in India, but there are also a large number of Hindi speakers in Nepal, Bangladesh, Mauritius, Fiji, South Africa, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Suriname. Also, the script is used to write the Hindi, Nepali, Sanskrit, Rajasthani, and Marathi languages, and a few others. The Devanagari script is divided into 42 letters, which there are 9 vowels and 30 consonants, which there are 3 types of consonants. The aspirated consonants, which are more breathy versions of some consonants, and the retroflex consonants, which are some consonants that are pronounced by putting the tongue up into the upper teeth. The first letter is the letter A, which makes the A sound like in man. It looks like a tree connected to a T. The next one is A, which is like the A, but it is longer. And it is exactly like the A, but it has another T on the side. The next one is E, which makes an I sound, and it looks like a squiggly snake. You first start with a vertical line, then make a C, then make a flip C, and then make a knot. It is kind of like the A in India. Yeah, the next one is E, which is exactly like I, but it is longer. It's pronounced like the E in tree, and the only difference is that there's a curve on top. The next one is Oo, which it is pronounced like the English oo, and it's a line with 2 C's facing right. The next one is Oo, which is the same as oo, but it is long, and the only difference is that you add a curve on the right of the tree. Next is A, which is a line with 2 hooks on the bottom, and it makes the E sound. The next one is very similar. It is A, which is a long E, and the only difference is that there is a curve on the top. The next one is O, which makes an O sound like in orange, and it is the long vowel A, but you add a little curve on top. And the next one is similar to the O, but it is different. It is the long O, which is the same, but you add another curve leaning to the right. So we finish with the vowels. The first consonant is Ka, which makes a K sound like in cat, and it is a line on top, a line heading down, and a horizontal S squiggle. The next one is Ka, which is pronounced like the Ka, but it is aspirated, which you release more air. It is a down and right loop with a line heading and down in a circle. The next one is Ga, which makes the G sound. It is a line with 2 lines sticking out from the bottom. The first one having a loop, and the next one is longer than the first one, and it doesn't have a loop. Next one is Ga, which makes the aspirated version of the G, and it looks like a stomach. I think that is a way to remember it. The next one is Nga, which makes an NG sound, and it is like the I, but instead of finishing with a knot, you just make a rising curve and add a dot on the right. The next one is Cha, which makes a CH sound, but you make it have to stop, like cha, cha, cha. It is a line with a vertical line on the right, a curve and another line. Next one is Cha, which makes a CH sound like cheese, and it is aspirated. It is a line with an E at the bottom with a hook attached to it. Next one is Ja, which makes the J sound like in Japan, and it is a line with another one and a question mark sticking out to the left. The next one is Ja, which is like the J, but it is aspirated. It is an I, but you add a line on the left and a vertical line extending downwards. The next one is Nya, which is pronounced like the NI in onion, and you might recognize this sound from the Spanish letter ñ, which makes that sound. It is like the ja, but the hook is more up than it is. Next one is ta, which makes a retroflex T sound, which is pronounced at the upper teeth. It looks like a bent T. The next one is ta, which is interesting because it is both retroflexed and aspirated, so you are doing multitasking when you are pronouncing it. And the only difference to ta is that the circle is completed. The next one is da, which is a retroflex D, which is pronounced at the upper teeth, and is exactly the same as ga, but you remove the dot. The next one is da, which is a retroflex aspirated D sound, and is a hook followed by a loop. And like ta, this is a multitasking letter. Next one is na, which is a retroflex N sound, and it is a line with a loop and another line at the bottom. The next one is ta, which makes the T sound as in time, and it is like the retroflex ta, but you move the line further to the right. The next one is ta, which is an aspirated T sound as in top, and it is a line with a curve on the left and an incompleted loop. The next one is da, which makes a D sound as in dog, and it starts like I, but you end with a dot. It's also similar to the retroflex aspirated the. The next one is da, which is makes the aspirated D sound, and it looks like the ta, but the only difference is that da has an extra bump in the curve. Next one is na, which makes the N sound like in no, and it is like ga, but the first line is horizontally flipped. Next one is pa, which makes a P sound and is very easy to remember. It actually looks like a P, but reversed. The next one is fa, which makes a PH sound as in telephone, and it's the same as pa, but you add a curve on the right. The next one is ba, which makes the B sound like in baby, and actually looks like a baby. The next one is ba, which makes an aspirated B sound, and it looks like the na, but you add a vertical line and loop at the left. The next one is ma, which makes the M sound like in mother, and it's the same as ba, but you remove the loop and extend the line on the top. The next one is ya, which makes the Y sound as in yes, and it's the same as ta, but you remove the loop and you extend the line on top. The next one is ra, which makes a rolled R like the Spanish R, which is pronounced r, and it looks like a lowercase r, but with a loop in the middle. The next one is la, which makes the L sound like in like, and it kind of looks like a tongue with a line on the right. The next one is va, which makes the V sound as in video, and it is like the ba, but you remove the line. The next one is sha, which is like the SH in shell, and you start with 2 loops and then add a line on the left. The next one is sha, which is like a retroflex S, simply pronounced like sha, and it is like the pa, but you add a line in the middle, a diagonal line. The next one is sa, which makes the S sound as in super, and it's exactly like ma, but you add a slash at the bottom left. And finally, there is ha, which makes the H sound as in hot, but it is kind of like a breathy H, like ha. It starts like I, but you add a C at the bottom. So we are done with all the letters. Since Hindi is an abugida, there are many vowel marks that modify the consonant letters. So I'm going to list them. If you add a line connected to the letter, it becomes a long vowel a, rather than the short a, which is inherent in the consonants. If you add a curve on the top and then heading down to the left, it becomes E. But if you reverse that mark, it becomes a long I like in she's. Again, if you add a C at the bottom of a letter, it becomes U. And if you flip that U mark, it becomes poo. Not that one. This U, the long one. U. If you add a curve on top of a letter, it becomes E. But if you add 2 curves at the same spot, it becomes E, a long E. If you add a line and the E mark, it becomes O. If you add another curve on top of the line, it becomes O, a long O. If you add a dot on top of a letter, it has an N sound after the consonant or vowel, as in Hindi. It's an example of that letter and that mark being used. And if you add a diagonal stroke at the bottom called a Vrama, it deletes the inherent vowel A. But here's the unique thing. If you add a consonant after one with a Vrama, it glues the two consonants to form a ligature, a consonant cluster. There are hundreds of ligatures in Hindi, so you can just search them and learn them. Oh, and also remember, Hindi letters are connected with a line at the top, as I said at the beginning. So that was the Hindi alphabet. Hope this was helpful. But main Hain. That's the end of the video. Also subscribe and click the bell so you won't miss any videos. Also share this video to your friends so they can see it and they will subscribe to me.